I thought in this discussion we could kind of try to dream a little bit and paint a picture of the future of the field that you and I spend a lot of time in.
Well, I think that would be good.
We need a little more dreaming these days.
Well, although I think a lot more is possible these days. Some of what I've dreamt of has become real, which is pretty cool.
Like what sorts of things?
Easier, well, because of hybrid closed loop technology, I've certainly seen a lot of people do better than they did previously more easily, which is not to say it's perfect technology, but it's really become something that has helped a lot of people. And I'll tell you my best story, because you know I love stories, is in East LA, which is the underserved population I treat, we haven't been able to use a lot of technology because the patients have issues and barriers, and it's been hard. And we've been doing telephone telemedicine because they don't have smartphones and we can't even see them. And so we had a patient, a new patient to our clinic, call in maybe March, and she had an A1C of 14%, had type 1 for a number of years, and was really naive to technology. And for some reason, we managed to not only talk her into starting a Dexcom, we got her to start a tandem pump. We did this all over the telephone. Wow. And we're able to get her on hybrid closed loop technology. And she's got an A1C in the 7s now, which is a miracle. I mean, just a miracle. And we did it all without seeing her. So we're all like, we really want to know what she looks like, you know?
Yeah.
But we did it that way and it worked. And I can't tell you that I've ever been able to do something that significant with that ease, because the technology and the interface and the ability to teach online is all improved, and in ways that I never thought it possible, which doesn't mean to say I can reach everybody, but it means to say that people who are interested and have the resources to get that technology can.
I love that. What a beautiful story.
So that's why I'm always an optimist, at least about certain things.
Yeah. I love that point too about doing it all over the telephone. Because I've been seeing some clients in a high school setting for mental health, and it is hard to do stuff over the telephone. So it's really cool to hear that that was possible.
Yes, it's changed my reality in a way. It's made me expand a bit. So I like that. And then, you know, I've spent tons of time, because remember, my regular life requires that I travel a lot because I go and teach, but I'm not traveling. I'm sitting here looking at people just like I'm looking at you. And therefore, you know, I can put a patient on a new system, or, you know, I have a lot of people on loop, and I can see them again in a week, and I can look at their data, and I can do a lot more interactive care. And it's, you know, it's made me even more geeky than I normally am.
What are you optimistic about with technology, either in this world or, you know, in a couple of years? Like what makes you the most optimistic?
Well, I think what makes me the most optimistic, as I said, is what I see as possible. And because I spend a lot of time looking at data, and I'm not so sure that most physicians do this, but I really analyze data. And I've become very fluent in analyzing, you know, not only just regular hybrid closed loop stuff, but also the loop do-it-yourself systems. And if you learn about how to analyze that, then you learn about how we could improve the existing systems and the existing algorithms. And so I've become kind of a connoisseur of what we need to do and also what we have. So I think that the companies that make the devices are moving ahead. I love the notion of having the pieces that interrelate together, that you can choose this sensor and this pump and whatever, and this algorithm. And, you know, I love the thought of being able to go in the App Store and having people just, you know, say, oh, here, I want this, you know, control algorithm. And so I'm really encouraged by all that. And I think that as it gets, it's going to simultaneously get more complicated and more simple. So I want systems that let my discerning user choose their targets. I want my systems to, you know, systems that say, okay, you know, yes, we can be more aggressive to deal with the postprandial rise. Yes, we need 6 different patterns for 6 different types of exercise. We need to be able to exercise morning, noon, and night and have the system know what to do. And I need a whole bunch of things in the systems that make it better. But I want that high-end system. And then I want, on the other hand, the world's simplest system, the one that you just put small, medium, and large in, and that I can put on patients with both type 1 and type 2 diabetes, because I have a lot of type 2s who really have issues with prandial insulin. I want the world's simplest systems and the world's most complicated systems, and then everything in between. But I have a lot of people who have A1Cs now. Well, I don't even think about A1Cs, to be honest, but who have, GMIs that are amazing and whose time in range is, above 90%, even on what we have. So, I always feel a little bit nervous, like, oh, gee, let's do this, or let's see if you sleep 24 hours a day, what happens? And, can you get even lower? And, I feel like a wizard sometimes of trying to do things. So, yesterday, I think everyone I saw was on a hybrid closed loop system, whether it was loop or a store-bought system. And, it was fun because I take the de-identified names from tracings from one person and say, look, this is what you can do. And this, like, here, look at the bolus mode and see how many little doses you get and see how this helps. And, I play with it. And to me, that to me is the fun part of doing diabetes. But I think that, my goal is to have that, like I said, the higher end user have everything they need, every variable and everything they can adjust. But, we also need to make it so that primary care doctors, regular old doctors, can use these systems. And I know there's a lot of work that's going on now to study. I know the Helmsley Charitable Trust is funding research in, primary care. Does this have to be a tool that's used for geeks like me? And I've been doing this since I was a fellow. I started out with biostatter studies. I've been doing this my whole life. But I want it simple for people and patients. But I think it can be. And I don't think I believed it before. I've seen amazing things. I've seen people, like double or triple dose on their insulin by mistake and plummet and have to eat everything in their house. And yet the hybrid closed loop system doesn't even let them get above 200 post all of that. I've seen things that I wouldn't have thought a system could figure out how to do. And yet it can do it. You know what I mean? It can do it. So that's the beauty of this.
Broadly speaking, where do you see the opportunities for the insulin delivery technology to improve around all this stuff? And we can get pie in the sky, wave a magic wand as you see fit.
Yeah, but I don't think that's fair, because there are pumps and there's still pumps and there's still infusion sets and all that other stuff. But the ability for the pump to vary the basal rate changes everything. And it doesn't fix the daytime postprandials necessarily. But for people to go to sleep at night and know they can wake up in the morning at the same blood sugar because the pump is jiggling the basal, to me is spectacular. And even giving long-acting basal insulin, that doesn't always predict how you're going to do. And I feel like when I put someone on a hybrid closed loop system, I'm giving them back their nights. And to me, that is huge. And no, it doesn't fix the days entirely. And you still have to dose insulin before meals. But the other thing it does, just even if it doesn't help at all with meals, if you think about it, it suspends the insulin delivery when you're going low. And you don't have to end up, with so much hypoglycemia. I had somebody I talked to yesterday who lost 9 pounds just by going on the hybrid closed loop system, on the tandem system, because she said, I'm not eating for lows all the time. And she's a very athletic person. And she just felt it was so nice to not be having to stuff, carbohydrates in her face for lows. So I think it's giving people much more peaceful nights that is a huge change. And I think it's helping people prevent lows in the day by suspending the insulin delivery. That's the other huge piece. So it doesn't fix it, but it gives you something you didn't have. I think people underappreciate those two benefits. I don't know, Adam, what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, what came up for me was we used to modify diabetes regimens based on A1C, like a 3-month average. And the fact that what Anne described, like every 5 minutes, Loop is making decisions for me and adjusting and tinkering, like, is such a game changer, because diabetes is like a 5-minute to 5-minute disease. It's not a 3-month disease in terms of the horizon. So I think giving people's nights back is underestimated in terms of like how much type 1 diabetes intrudes on sleep and then how that carries into the next day in terms of diabetes and mental health, and then how that carries into the night. And you just get in these cycles. So just that alone is massive.
What do Dr. Peters and Adam think is needed the most to develop the complex and simple solutions that they talked about earlier? Better algorithms, apps, faster insulins, better infusion sets, better CGM tech. You get to pick. Where do you focus innovation to create those complex and simple solutions that were discussed?
That is not a simple
No pressure. No
and
pressure.
I have to go to another meeting. But Adam, there's not one part of this. I think smarter algorithms are really important because they fit both sides of this, right? A smarter algorithm, anything that's really smart can be really simple. So I think that that's important. But I think, as I said, the accuracy of devices and the, reducing the complexity of devices was really important. There's not one piece. It's all got to move forward together. And I just think it takes, research and time. And I'm always frustrated at how long it seems to take, but I really think that what I know of what's going forward, at least seems to be on the right path. It's just, again, it's not here now, and I want it yesterday. So it's more speed. But I think this ICGM and ACE and the controllers, or whatever they're called, eye controllers, I don't know, but the whole notion of all of these pieces seems to be advancing together in a good way that will encourage innovation and creativity as we move beyond what we have now.
Adam?
Yeah, to me, I agree with all that. To me, it's none of those things. It's access, it's payment, it's reimbursement, it's Ann's time. It's like the less sexy stuff, because if there's a business model around stuff, companies will make those things. And at least I believe that. And so we need like just better payment, simpler payment, Ann's reimbursement for Ann's time, and just more people to get technology.
Yeah.
Oh no, we need all of that. But yeah, no, we need everything. So see, we've got it covered.
Piece of cake.
It should be better in 6 months, right? Along with COVID.
This is actually the beginning of our Pave It Forward webinar series. A couple of weeks ago, we launched our Pave It Forward campaign. And we actually invite you to make a gift of any amount if you're able, if you're willing to help us reach our goals, including delivering Tidepool Loop, as well as supporting the continuous innovation that Tidepool contributes to the diabetes community. Watch this animation go. If you go to tidepool.org/paveitforward, I know that animation is just so fire. But if you go to tidepool.org/paveitforward and make a contribution, we appreciate any and every gift that you are able to make. Have a great day, everybody.